Natasha. This is my first live on TikTok, guys, so you can give me any feedback. But I was told that I have to be on live. I am actually on live on a few platforms. Emeka, we're gonna do what, a 10-second countdown. Yes, so my name is Natasha Robinson. I am a loan officer. I am licensed in 19 states. I won't go over all of them today. My main state is Illinois, but of course I'm licensed in Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, Missouri, New York, New Jersey, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, trying to think of all of them, but I am licensed in 19 states. I am a loan officer that not only does loans, but my goal is to help you build wealth through home ownership and to build a platform so that way we can grow together. Mortgages are only one form of how you build wealth. Today, I am doing a breaking news high-level realtor conversation as it relates to market updates. I do lunch and loans every Tuesday from 12 o'clock to 1. You can follow me at Loans by Natasha on Instagram to see everything we're doing, also on YouTube. And we have some changes that you guys need to know about. So today will be a rather quick one, but the mortgage update in 2025 is crazy. We've gotten the most changes in the past 30 days that I've ever experienced in quite some time, right? We have policy and program updates, market trends, strategic considerations, right? And then we're going to do some question and answers for those of you who I can see your comments. The rules are, there are no rules, right? So just make sure that you guys drop any questions that you may have, and we will get those questions answered for you. If not live, we will definitely get those answered for you as soon as possible. The biggest change that is a heartbreaker for me is that we are removing ROVs, right? So what is a ROV? An ROV is a reconsideration of value. So we always talk about how the appraisers are biased. They're not getting value in our communities, right? This is something that we talk about on a regular basis. Well, Loans by Natasha, I don't really have those problems because I do my due diligence to make sure that if we get a bad seed, that we can make sure that we follow the policies and procedures to remove them. Of course, if we have a legitimate complaint. A reconsideration of value is something that we do when we get a value on an appraisal and that appraisal comes back lower than what you expected. Now, I live in Chicago. I'm licensed in 19 states, but I live in Chicago. And in Chicago, if you go on the south side and you're in Chatham, you can go from North Kenwood across the street to Hyde Park. And then once you cross the street in Hyde Park, now your property went from 900,000 to 1.3 million. Then you can go 5 blocks down, not even a mile further, and now you're in Bronzeville. Then you can go a little further, and now you're in another neighborhood, and your value is going from 250 for a single family to 500 for a single family to 4 million, and it's all within that same close radius. So unfortunately, FHA says no more reconsideration of values, right? So with that being said, you definitely have to make sure that you have a good loan officer and a good agent. I know everybody has a friend, a cousin, a mother, an uncle that's doing real estate, but you want to make sure you have a really good professional that is out there so that way you guys can see what is going on. FHA also just immediately, congratulations to Donald Trump, I guess, but immediately no longer is FHA accepting permanent resident aliens to do loans as an FHA mortgage. There are some alternatives like ITIN loans and DACA as well as conventional loans, but that is something that Donald Trump came out with and they made an immediate change. In May of 2025, you will no longer be able to get a loan if you are a permanent resident alien, not an FHA loan. So if you are a permanent resident alien, you want to get your paperwork done quick. And it is the day we pull those case numbers, right? So with that being said, the day we pull those case numbers is when it starts. So if you have your case number pulled before May, then you will be okay, right? But effective immediately, we can no longer dispute the appraiser's value. So your lender matters, listing agents. Stop letting these loan officers that in these banks that don't know what they're doing appraise your property, because if you didn't know, now you do. Live today by Loans by Natasha is that you know now that if that value comes back short, it is recorded to that case number and you are stuck with that value over 90 days. So definitely you want to make sure you have the right appraiser for you in this particular situation. And I see, guys, this is the first time I'm live on TikTok, so I don't know how to say hi or anything. So thank you to everyone that has joined. I am Loans by Natasha, your loan officer. If you want to drop a hello in the comments, let me know you're there. If it's topics you want to hear about, we're here every Tuesday at 12 o'clock. So that way you guys can have all the news and the updates as relates to mortgage lending. Got it? So in addition to that, if you guys don't know what you should, the new loan limits came out. We are on a single family for FHA 524, right? As it relates to a 4-unit, we are at $1 million, right? That is amazing. But if you get a conventional loan at that 1 unit, you now can get approved for $806,000 with only 5% down. That is the loan limit for a conventional 1-unit property. If you are purchasing a 4-unit, now you are looking at 1.5 million. So the difference between a conventional loan versus an FHA, and keep in mind for all my veterans, thank you guys for your services, VA actually follows conventional guidelines. So 1.5 million on the 4-unit. So you just being able to qualify for an FHA mortgage will save you $500,000 more on a 4-unit if you're able to get into that conventional loan product. FHA is 3.5% down on a 1, 2, 3, 4 unit, and conventional is 5% down on a 1, 2, 3, 4 unit. So you got to put 1.5% down more, but you can buy $500,000 more worth of property, which is absolutely amazing. Got it. And please drop any comments that you may have, any questions. Emeka, let me know if questions on the platforms. Freddie and Fannie just changed some guidelines. This is not FHA, right? We used to have a grant where we can give you up to $7,000. You have to do your applications and get your findings ran by April 4th. So if you are someone that wanted this particular grant, $7,000, it was based upon where you live. And in most cases, you can make about $159,000 and still qualify for this grant. Immediately, Trump came through, or government administration immediately wiped it out like within weeks. So if you have your file ran and you close in May, you are still privy to that. So if you're already pre-approved, you can get a second opinion from me. If you love your loan officer, you can always call them and make sure they are abreast on what's going on, because it is very important. We went over those new guidelines for you guys. The guidelines are crazy. Like, we have the same like loan limits as New York and New Jersey, which Illinois is just changing on. I'm saying I think I bought my house for 100 and something thousand back 17 years ago. And the market has just drastically changed so much that it's just insanity. So you definitely want to be abreast as to everything that's going on. As we mentioned, Home Ready is being discontinued. Have your file run through DU, that is desktop underwriting, so that way you can secure your grants. We have fewer options available, but they always come back with something new. We do still have our $10,000 and $20,000 grant with CHAC. We also have a lot of other opportunities, but sometimes grants aren't always the best option for you. You guys can always find me on YouTube, Loans by Natasha on Instagram, so you can watch my down payment assistance programs. And I have down payment assistance in all 19 states that I am licensed in, okay? You want to explore your lender for specific alternatives. Other lenders have other packages, but you want to make sure that you are aware and abreast as to what is going on in this market, right? We have limited inventory. So I don't know what states you guys are in that are watching, if you want to drop what state you're looking in, but I know Illinois, I know Wisconsin, I know Michigan, I know we have in Georgia, there are limited inventory. I know Texas is pulling through with some great new construction properties, but it's limited inventory. So your lender matters. You want to make sure you come with a real pre-approval, that you know what's going on, that you're working with individuals that can get you off market properties. So that way they're kind of sold before listed to you, because the seller's going to get basically what it's going to appraise for. It's just a matter of what buyer is going to basically get the property. Okay. So we do have that lower housing supply. The buyers are competing. you guys are at an advantage because 30% of the world thinks they shouldn't buy right now because the interest rates are going to go back down to 3%. I'm not licensed to give my expertise on that, but I just definitely don't agree with that. So with that being said, if the interest rates do go down, you can refinance. But what is a national fact is that every year real estate has gone up. So if you're able to buy now and refinance later, as long as you can afford your mortgage, you are still winning. You are still winning if you can afford your mortgage, because if you pay your mortgage every month and you are no investor, in 30 years, guess what? Your mortgage is going to be paid off and you're going to be able to utilize that as an asset to retire or do whatever it is that you want to do. So renting is not an option unless you cannot afford to buy, but the education, the information is here for you. And don't believe everything you see on TikTok. Make sure you're working with a licensed professional. And I didn't drop my MLS number, but I am Loans by Natasha on Instagram, MLS number 332074. Please feel free to follow me for more information. I'm also on YouTube as well. And keep in mind, your buyers can get seller assistance. They can get paid closing costs and all of those things as well, to get you through your transactions, right? So with that being said, we want to make sure that you are connecting with your lender, knowing the programs. And for those of you who are joining late, FHA is no longer allowing reconsideration of value, which means your value is in your lender. You need to make sure that you have a good lender, and you as the listing agent, if you hire somebody, if you are a buyer on this call and you have a realtor, you need to make sure that your realtor is meeting that appraiser out at that property to make sure that they have the appropriate comps, because with FHA, you only get one chance at volume. And for my buyers at the value, and for my buyers, it's great. If you put a contract on something for $350, right? And then the appraiser comes back and lowballs it at $300, that's good for you if the seller will accept it. But the seller could just come back and say, nope, I want a conventional buyer, and I'll just wait and see what happens to that. So one, when you purchase a property, you want to make sure that you're purchasing it for the value that makes sense, meaning your listing agent or your buyer's agent is checking to make sure that you have comps within 1 year and 1 mile. A comp is a property that has sold within 1 year and 1 mile, and it supports the value that you are paying for your property. You don't want to overpay for your property, right? And you don't want to you want to underpay, but you don't want to overpay, but you don't want to be lowballed and missed out on the opportunity just because the appraiser didn't know what he was doing. Mecca, do we have any questions on your side? Got it. So I don't see any questions over on this side as well, but you guys can feel free to ask any questions, right? You want to educate your clients on changing the criteria. You want to educate yourself. Trust but verify all your information. You want to diversify your loan products. Yes, we're losing Home Ready first. And for those of you who logged on, I see Ms. Shonda and Ms. Dominique. If you have a client that wanted the Home Ready first, if we run them through automatic underwriting before April 4th, and if we close them, I think by May 31st, they can still get that grant, but we don't want them to lose it by just a couple of days. The ROV is something we can't do about. We are taking away being able to dispute an appraiser on an FHA loan, and our special Home Ready products, which was allowing us to put 3% down and go conventional with lower credit scores, that is also being eliminated as well. So we have new products that are going to come around. But with that being said, that's kind of where we are today. So when new products come, we'll definitely let you guys know, so that way you can kind of be up to speed on what's going on, when to lock in, make sure you're securing the bag as soon as you can, right? So that's pretty much all I have today. If no one has any questions, I try to make these as short as possible, but I do want to share a few things with you guys before I leave. You can come to Lunch and Loans every single Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Today was just a brief one, but we're going to have some good information that you can use for yourself and your clients every week. You can scan in to register that. And I am also very excited to launch that I am going to be having a 5-week generational wealth series. I am a licensed loan officer, but I am not a wealth expert or stock expert. So at all my seminars, we will have professionals in the building These are for my people in Chicago. We are going to have some live things for you guys as well. I also do Mortgage Moves Monday at 6 p.m. So you could tune in every 6 p.m. And we stream everything through Facebook, Natasha Robinson, and Loans by Natasha on Instagram. But I'm so excited about our 5-week series. We're going to be talking about funding your business. We're going to have people that are grant writers. We're going to have the bank in the building talking about how they're getting these $150,000 and $250,000 grants and loans for small businesses. That is going to be Wednesday, April 2nd from 6 to 8 at Nitro Nostalgia on 4252 South Cottage Grove. And then we're going to talk about how you can retire with real estate. So, of course, you know, that's my thing. We'll be at my office, 54 East 26th Street in Chicago. That's the following Wednesday at 6 p.m. Definitely you want to be in the building. We're going to have lots of professionals there as well, going over insurance. Miss Ebony Lucas is going to be in the building talking about attorney work. We got State Representative LaShawn Ford, who is not only our state rep, but is also a realtor, right? And then after that, we're going to talk about the stock market on the following Wednesday, and that's going to be at Nitro Nostalgia, which is an infused ice cream Black business that received a $150,000 grant to open. So definitely check us out. That's at 6 p.m. as well. Then we're going to go back to our commercial real estate, where we're going to talk about commercial real estate. So we taught you how to be a buyer. And for those of you guys that don't know me, I'm going to come back with my house hacking, but I am a house hacker and I use real estate for so many things. I am who I am today because of one little 3-unit property that I bought a long time ago, right? So we're going to talk about how once you get ready to sell your particular properties, or you're going to buy that multi-unit, then that 2-unit, then that single family property, and then we're going to try to utilize that equity to get you into a multi-unit, a commercial property. We're going to talk about that. The investors, there's different lenders that does commercial lending. Some of them allows 10% down, which I didn't know. I thought you only had to put 20 to 25%. So we'll definitely have those lenders in the building as well. And then we're going to wrap it up at the Royal Bistro Live in Lansing, Illinois, where we're going to talk about estate planning. How many of y'all make $150,000, $200,000 a year, and you have life insurance, whole life insurance, but you have no will? If you die tomorrow, you have no idea where you're going to be sending that money. Well, we're going to be talking about that day, and you're going to be able to get signed up or get the information to get signed up to speak to whomever it is that you may need in the future, right? Feel free to follow me on all social platforms, Instagram, Facebook. My website is loansbynatasha.com. I really appreciate you guys for joining me today. I am Natasha Robinson, MLS number 332074. Did anybody on the call have any questions?
Yeah, Natasha. It's Dominique.
You got a question, Dominique?
Yeah, I know, like, I've been coming in on Tuesdays, and so, like, sometimes you say you're gonna send out the information. I wanted to somewhere I need to sign up at to get like the information.
I saw you bring your speaker off, and I see Olivia coming in. Olivia, we was talking about the new changes in the guidelines with FHA no longer allowing reconsideration of values, and no more Fannie Freddie Home Possible and Home Ready on Fannie. But we were wrapping up. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have any questions before we wrapped up.
Hey, can you hear me, Natasha? I don't know. Hello?
No questions? Well, you guys have an amazing day, and I shall talk to you guys soon. I'm trying to learn how to do all of my platforms at the same time, so you guys can email me any advice if you have them. I'm a little old school, but if you have any questions, let me know, and I look forward to sharing more information with you guys next week.